Hi folks, welcome back to The Pulse. I'm entering 2 years, almost 2 full years of taking NMN. And over that couple of years, every few weeks, I notice a new benefit. A surprise benefit in many cases, adding to the long laundry list of NMN benefits like better sleep, lost weight, reduced inflammation, no more allergy symptoms, better hot-cold sensitivity, better energy, better mood, better sports recovery, less pain driving around. My eyesight improved dramatically. I made a video recently about that. A resting heart rate at 50, which is that of a pro athlete, and I'm exercising more. So just many, many, many benefits. And that's not an exclusive list. NMN has been life-changing for me. It's been an incredible natural ingredient that I'm going to continue to take as long as I can, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the thing that surprised me is related to a couple things most likely on that list. And I woke up the other day and I realized I was dry. I've been experiencing night sweats for decades where I'm just drenched. And it didn't matter the time of year. Matter of fact, you get the heat on during the winter, so I'd sweat at night. There were times if I exercised at night in the evening, I'd definitely sweat more. It's as if my body didn't cool back down for several hours. I'm not experiencing any of that anymore. I remembered having, very specifically, prior to taking NMN, remembered moving my head on the pillow in different places, flipping the pillow over in the middle of the night. I'd wake my wife up. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm moving the bed, shaking the bed, flipping the pillow over. Then I'd wake up in the morning. I'd have a wet pillowcase, and my shirt, collar would have a ring around it of sweat. Some days it was so bad, the first thing I'd do when I would get up is change my t-shirt. I like to sleep in a t-shirt, and I would just drench it with sweat. Also noticed that I haven't had these, when I wear a button-down shirt, I haven't had this extra perspiration going all the way down my side. A little bit, sure, but nothing like what I used to have. So I'm finding myself wearing different types of shirts that I didn't wear before as well. So it really impacted me. And these night sweats, I don't know what caused it. I can guess, that it had to do with inflammation somehow. That's definitely something that the puffiness is gone from my face. It's left a little extra skin at times behind, but I'll take it, because I feel so great. So these benefits have been stacking up. Last weekend, I went on a bike ride with my family, and I couldn't help but be struck by the fact that it's a beautiful spring day. Everything's in bloom. Pollen is flying through the air, floating through the air. And I had no allergies. This is crazy to me. I could never go out for a walk or a ride or a run in years past, prior to NMN, without taking Claritin, Zyrtec, some kind of, when I was younger, Contact, which is now banned due to brain bleeding, right? I was taking drugs. I was drugged in some way. I would feel drugged, still kind of enjoyed being out there, but, it came at a price. Playing tennis, exercising during the spring and summer, it came at a price for me, always. To have that vision so clear and my breathing so clear, not suffering from that congestion of the past, it's just, I could talk about this stuff every week in my videos. And I just bring it up because I'd much rather talk about that than the NMN political fight that we're having with certain parties. But it's the battle to preserve my right to feel the way I do right now. This isn't about disease cure claims, right? This is about wellness. This is about a healthy lifestyle, which should be a normal lifestyle for people. And where we're at here is, lines are being drawn. You need to say, I value this. You need to pick a side. Certain parties have shown no shame. They literally don't care if I'm feeling better and you're feeling better. They picked a side. David Sinclair picked a side. He was on our side. He was on Team NMN. Some could argue he created Team NMN. In many ways, he did. But eventually, what I suspect happened is he kept talking about NMN. It kept growing, and people started to whisper to him, "Hey, man, why aren't you capitalizing on this? Why aren't you making millions on this? You got millions of people taking this. It's not cheap. You should cash in on this." And eventually, he said, "You could pay for your research." Someone said, "Hey, we'll fund your research. Come sign the dotted line, Metro Biotech. You'll be able to fund all your research." And that matters more than our health. That matters more than me on a spring day, seeing clearly, not having allergy symptoms or not having night sweats and sleeping through the night more comfortably. He picked a side. He picked the self-enrichment side. I sort of also have this, imaginary idea of a conversation where his dad calls him up and says, "Son, David." "Yes, Dad." He says, "Hey, I saw this video came up on my YouTube feed from the Pulse." "Oh, don't listen to him, Dad." "Well, he says you're trying to take NMN away." "Dad, don't worry. I'm going to get you your NMN. You're going to be fine." "Well, what about Aunt Jane and my neighbors?" And I'll send some extra. Is this really right, David? What's the problem? Why don't you just, I thought it was a supplement people could take. You told me it was a vitamin, form of vitamin B. Yeah, Dad, it is. Can you imagine? And I've seen video of his dad. It seems plausible that he would be on Team NMN. Can you imagine being in your 80s, as some of you are, and you're experiencing these kinds of benefits? You want everybody, if you're a normal human being, you want everybody to feel great because you walk around and you just start telling people about it. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to share my own experiences with you because I'm so excited. And I love hearing your stories. But right now we got to fight for those spring days on, going through the vineyards. But the fact is, lines are being drawn. I'm taking NMN and I'm drawing a line on NMN because it's given me so much. So for me, it's an easy decision. So many of you have said, thanks, keep up the work on NMN. It's an easy fight because NMN has given me so much. I just want to give back. I want to fight back. And so many of you have chimed in with your own stories about NMN that I know you want to give back. And that message, that the fact that you're picking a side, that message is putting pressure. It's applying pressure on FDA, on politicians. I don't know if Sinclair's feeling pressure or not. He sort of seems to laugh every time he talks about his own pressures or stresses. He just sort of, I got a lot of enemies out there. Yeah, but this isn't funny. Sinclair created the NMN world as we know it, and he picked a side. My guess is that people got in his ear and said, "Man, you got millions of people taking NMN. You should be benefiting somehow on this." And he took the bait. He took the bait. I think he's picked the losing side, but most of us have, picked a winning side, which is to back Team NMN with letters, in some cases with money. I think FDA is on the losing side of this. The senators who are beginning to line up, and they are. One senator wrote one of his constituents just last week that NMN, yes, it exists in nature. He was acknowledging something that the voter had written. But, this is a synthesized form. This beta NMN that FDA is banning is a synthesized form of NMN, so it doesn't count. This is a very reckless argument because 70% of Americans take synthesized vitamins or supplements. That vitamin C in that bottle is not all natural. It's synthesized. It's created. It's a natural ingredient. The chemistry of it is identical to vitamin C. What matters is the purity, not how it was made. So the fact that you're taking pure NMN, that's what matters, not how it was manufactured. They don't own the manufacturing process. If you come up with a manufacturing process for vitamin C, it's still vitamin C. You test it in a lab and it's vitamin C. Therefore, you don't own it. You certainly have the right to sell it, but that doesn't mean you own it and you can take it off the market. We made this one. No one else can sell it this way. This is our own vitamin C now. You can't sell vitamin C anymore because we made this version of it. It's ludicrous and it's reckless. It's a really reckless stand that he's taking. When you have politicians like Jeff Duncan fighting for NMN, writing a letter with a nuanced argument for NMN. It's a policy position he's taking. It's not talking points delivered by some government agency. Matter of fact, he has oversight, and he's expressing a lot of character by defending NMN because it matters to so many people, and it matters to me on a spring day when I'm out there trying to enjoy my time with my family, and I'm able to do that because I'm taking a natural supplement like NMN. And yeah, I respect what he's doing. I respect him joining Team NMN. And by the way, if you're with the FDA and you're watching this, that letter that he wrote you last week, the deadline's coming up. It's May 11th. You need to respond to that request for public hearing on NMN. I think FDA is showing the cracks in their arguments for NMN. Their case for NMN is crumbling before our eyes, admitting that they didn't connect the dots. Like, what kind of legal position is that? The first thing you do is publicly admit you screwed it up. Like they're backpedaling. They're backpedaling. They're struggling. They're on a weak foundation. They're on a losing argument. They're on the losing side, and they realize it. And their arguments don't have the nuance and the detail and the backing, frankly, from the public that Jeff Duncan has with his letter. What I also believe is going to take place is that David Sinclair, who made the case for NMN as a supplement, he's the one who made the case that we're going to present to Congress, to FDA, and potentially in court. We're just going to take David Sinclair's argument. The same argument he gave to his dad when he talked his dad into taking NMN as a supplement. David Sinclair, I'm sure, is juggling a lot of things right now. And I'm sure his dad taking NMN is got to be on his mind because he's talked about it on so many occasions. Yet, by the letter of the law, his dad won't be able to take NMN, which no longer meets the definition of a dietary supplement. He will have to get a prescription to take his NMN. And he'll have to have one of those 2 or 3 diseases to have it prescribed by a doctor legally. Like, it's so unnecessary, right? It's so crazy. Their arguments have no merit. Their arguments, the foundation is crumbling underneath them. And the chances, the prospects for me to continue to have these beautiful spring and summer days where I'm not suffering, where I'm feeling healthy, and you as well, to be able to go out, take NMN, and live a healthier life, reduce your own inflammation, treat your own arthritis, right, with NMN, with a natural substance. The odds for you doing that are going up the more people that line up on the right side of this argument, which is to support Team NMN. There's now a PAC created by Natural Products Association where you can support the politicians on both sides of the fence who are fighting for your right to take NMN. That link is going to be in the description to that PAC. I encourage you to support it. It's individuals only. It's not corporations. Look, we know the senators that are on the drug industry side are getting well-funded to pose their case to take NMN away from us. We know that they're well-funded, and so we're going to have to also support this side as well with letters. If you can't send anything, fine. If you can't join the organizations, fine. You can't come into Flying Day, fine. Make comments. Continue to write those letters. Keep writing and calling your congressmen and your senators, and keep pushing because you're on the right side of this, right? Team NMN is going to win this. In some way, shape, or form, Team NMN will survive this threat. But we do need to pick a side. We do need to take a stand so we don't get stepped on. I'll see you guys soon.